So I'm going to start my talk. What I wanted to do was talk a little bit about how I met Norman, because everyone knows the story, but by the time we hear it over and over again in Las Vegas when we have our annual get-togethers, we might forget. So I met Norman in 1979 at a tennis party at AAA, and it was a cocktail party. People weren't playing tennis. And he came up to me and he introduced me with his full name. He said, "I'm Norman Kraselnik." And I said, "Oh, you have to be a cousin of mine," because I heard that there was a family in St. Louis who had the last name Kraselnik. And in fact, I had met his mother and his sister. They had invited me to dinner one time, but they said that they had a brother in the Central West End who was the black sheep of the family dating shiksas, and he probably might be too busy to go out with me. So, he's took me and under his wing and started setting me up with different men because I was newly widowed. And after a while, we were talking every day, and we were biking, and we were watching television together and football, going to seeing Monday Night Football at the house. And after a while, like Richard said, I was no longer cousin Judy, I was just Judy. And so we started going out together, and after that was, let's see, we met in May '79. In November of '80, we started being committed, where we didn't date other people and had no new he-she relationships without the other person being there. And then in 1981, in December, we started living together in the two different places, at the country estate and the fashionable, chic Central West End. And then we were walking down the street one day in 1991 in Vegas, and Norman said, "Would you like to get married?" And a month before, I had told my girlfriends that Norman and I would never get married because we enjoyed each other too much, and we were just so happy with our relationship there would be no way that we would ever marry. But when he asked me, I didn't want to say no, because I thought, well, that might change our relationship. And so I said yes, and so we got married that day. We went to City Hall, and with the limousine. It was $39 for the wedding at Lemoore Wedding Chapel. 369 Love was the telephone number. And they took us in that $39 by limousine to the City Hall to get our license. And there we were in 95-degree weather in our shorts. There were people in wedding gowns and people in cowboy boots in line, and we got our marriage license, and then they drove us back to the chapel. And we were married by a minister, he said he was, and we thought this was great fun and everything, but when he married us, we cried. It was so sentimental, and he was so sincere, and he was talking to us about marriage and what it meant, and we both just cried. We were both sentimental about it, and we were very much in love, and we went back to the Caesar's Palace, and we called the kids, and we said to them that we had gotten married, and they were very excited about it, and we found champagne and strawberries in our room that they had given us, and we called my parents and told my parents that we got married, but they thought it was a joke. And I didn't realize that when we came to visit them, I had my wedding ring, and my mother said to me, "Ha ha ha, my ring is bigger than yours." And I was wondering, why is my mother saying that, the sweetest woman in the world? And she just said, "Well, Norman always tells jokes." And my sister had to tell her that we had really gotten married. And then my mother and father cried, and they were happy. They were so happy that we had gotten married. And that was 1991, and it worked. And so that's my story, in case you ever wanted to know how we got together.